Hi, my name is Dana Arnett, co-host of Wicked Marketing, along with my partner, Carlos Sapene. You can find more information about us and our business on LinkedIn, or if you have any questions, email us at info@wickedbionic.com. Subscribe to Wicked Marketing on Apple Podcasts and write an awesome review for us. We're also on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Play. Thanks for listening. Hi, this is Dana.
Hi, this is Carlos.
Welcome to our podcast today. We're so glad that you're here, and it's been such an interesting time, and we wanted to share some really fascinating observations that we've had about, how things have changed from being in quarantine and how to connect with your consumer and the new ways and avenues that we've learned, and kind of revenue streams, right? Really, ultimately, things that you can develop.
Yeah. So let's just start by acknowledging the fact that this podcast is being recorded during the quarantine from COVID-19.
So I've never not been in the same room with Carlos, so we're using Zoom, looking at each other and trying to cue each other when the other one wants to talk.
And Dana's literally sitting in her garage with her car behind her, trying to be somewhere quiet enough to record a podcast while I'm sitting in my bedroom, hidden away from my dog, and I can hear him behind the door.
Oh my God. But we felt it was so important. We're like, we're getting through this with, some humor and, amidst all the craziness, but we really have been noticing how many things are flourishing or staying alive in order to once we come through this. So there's so many great things we want to talk about.
And one of the things that you always heard before was how times of crisis drove innovation, right? So anytime, and it doesn't have to be a quarantine where everyone in the world is quarantined for it to be a crisis, but it's in times of crises where we get the most creative, most innovative to develop new ways and things to either connect or to stay above water in a lot of cases. But if anything, if I'm a glass half full type person,
Me too. So
is Dana. So we focus on the positives of things, and because we live and breathe marketing and communications and connections and innovation at our firm, one of the biggest things that we've noticed is how creative people have gotten.
Yes.
How many of the initiatives that have been developed during this time are initiatives that, if people continue to leverage them, and a lot of people will continue to leverage them post quarantine, it will shift the marketplace. It will shift the way that we connect going forward, because it's given us the chance to reevaluate how we communicate with our customers. When you can't be one-on-one, person-to-person, have them see you, because if you saw me right now with my hair looking crazy, this is not the way that I present myself when I'm with a customer, right? It's more about how we now have to use this break, this space, to still stay connected, still stay relevant, and innovate in the ways that we do that with our audience.
I want to say I came home from that business conference with Pinnacle Global Network, and one of the members, she owns Koi, K-O-I wine cellars. And I think I told you this, and it was probably, I think that's maybe 4 weeks ago now. And it was just starting to talk about locking things down. And what they did, because they knew that they weren't going to be able to stay open very long, it was so brilliant. They were just innovative so quickly, is they did, because they used to have Friday night wine tasting at the cellar. So what they did, because they are a subscription wine business, is what they developed right away was a Friday night virtual wine tasting. Mm-hmm. So they sent an email out
with
to
their wine club.
With the wine club. So they sent an email out to all their customers that were part of the wine club. They prepared them for what wines they were going to use. And they talked about the food that they would pair it with. And then everybody got on, and it became this social, educational wine tasting. And I thought, who would think that a winery could stay open during a crisis like COVID, And it was brilliant, and they have thrived because of it. So innovative things happening like that.
And you're seeing it in every space, right? So there's the more creative spaces like that. There's the fitness has become a huge thing. People are trying to stay healthy
I bought
during
3
the
things. How many
super.
things have you bought? How many things have you bought for your
I literally have a whole gym at my house now. I don't even need to go to the gym anymore. I have a whole
Oh
gym
my
at my
God,
house.
I'm a Beachbody subscription. I'm doing yoga in the garage. It's crazy.
And what has evolved is that whereas you used to see your trainers or your coaches or the people that ran your group exercise classes only when you went to your group exercise classes, and a few people connected with them on Instagram, but it was very like in the social space, you're seeing them now use these tools to really stay connected with their audiences. I know, for example, I go to Soul Cycle a lot, which is a cycling class here in LA, but it's well known around the country. My Soul Cycle instructor now does a Wednesday meditation where over, I think we were 75 people on at the last meditation. It's every Wednesday,
Okay.
it's open to everybody. He does half of the time meditating, half of the time working out at 6 p.m.
Nice.
And people get to, when you look at the chat going on, whereas when I went to Soul Cycle, to be honest with you, I'm not the most social person in that environment. I have 2 or 3 people that I know that I talk to, and that's it. But during that chat, during that live Zoom, everyone's on the chat, chatting,
During
talking to each
meditation?
other, and during meditation, yeah. And
That's not it.
but it's meditation and exercise, right? But there is a connection happening that was
Yes,
never there before.
so
And these
much.
are people that I'm going to see after the quarantine. Then now I know who they are. Now I know, like I've been in their homes
The
through,
shared
through
experience.
Zoom.
Shared
Uh,
experience. Yes.
yeah, so there's many ways to connect, and they're getting very innovative, right? So like staying within that fitness space. Right before this happened, I had paid for a um, 8-week course from this trainer that is like the trainer that
Like a
trains
beast.
like the beast trainer, right? And so, but it relied a lot on having specific tools to do it with. So then the quarantine comes along, and I don't have access to all those tools, right? So like I'm not going to buy a Nordic track thing to have here or
Hell no.
whatever it is. Um, so he immediately recreated body weight exercises so
Awesome.
that you could have a fitness program that was only based on body weight. You didn't need to have any weights at home.
It's
So
effective, isn't it? Because I'm doing that with Shailene Johnson's PIO workout. I literally have a yoga mat or a towel on the floor, and our body weight is a killer, right? I mean, you
yeah,
lift weights, but it's totally effective. To that point, I got to say one more story about the fitness area. This woman in this business group as well, she had private gyms, and we're just starting to talk about what to do or how people were forced to close. And she got the notice, and I said, if people are going to be in their homes and they need a workout, because she's a small 3 location business, I said, are your trainers good looking? And she's like, they're really good looking. I'm like, then have them go home and do 1-minute workouts, whether they're cooking a recipe in the kitchen and doing squats during it, or
mhm,
doing something in other parts of their house or in the garden or whatever, and keep sending those to your clients so they can integrate this whole new world into their home but still keep fit. And she's doing it, and she has got this repetitive that people are staying with her as opposed to leaving and freezing the account.
yeah, and even in places where uh, that are benefiting, let's just say, from the quarantine, like Netflix, right? If
Right.
anybody's benefiting out of the quarantine, is Netflix, and that their user base is just growing. Even there, they are taking this to heart and connecting with people in ways that I feel like is going to have a long term effect. I recently saw Antoni, the chef from Queer Eye on Netflix, is
Yeah.
working with Netflix to help people submit whatever elements of food they have left in their house, if they're, because of the shortages and the inability, especially this week, the week that we're recording this podcast, we're at the expected peak of the quarantine, or the highest level of
Critical mass.
infection,
Yeah.
the critical mass of the infection. So people are not really recommended to even go to the supermarket right now. especially this week, people can send in, okay, these are things that I have left in my
How do I
kitchen.
make
What,
something?
how can I make something
Oh,
out of
that's
it?
great.
And
Brilliant.
so he's filming in his Instagram stories with Netflix, uh, recipes that he's coming up on the fly with, and how to
Fantastic.
things up and make it great. So it really creates an opportunity to innovate and connect with your community.
In
And that,
non-traditional ways, right? In non-traditional ways.
absolutely.
And you can get together with a group of 3 or 4 or 5 business owners and start brainstorming ideas, because they'll see something for your business that you couldn't see yourself. And what's great, what does Allison Maslin say? Don't worry, be crappy. It's
Mhm.
okay to go out there and be crappy when you're doing it. It's okay. Everything's forgiving right now. Everything's forgiving. You're just trying to help people and keep your business alive.
And that's the thing, right? And people, another thing is people are really noticing who is keeping their business alive, who is
Trying.
keeping their staff employed, and
Yes.
figuring out ways to engage their staff. Because yes, you should keep your staff employed, but there's other ways that you can leverage your staff to create connection with
That's right.
people. So think about it from that perspective too. How do I now involve my team, which is also going to build brand loyalty, right, of your team to your brand? Uh, how can I engage them in ways that keeps them excited about what we do, but maybe also opens them up to being creative and coming up with solutions with how do we keep connecting with people, um, during this hard time, but in ways that then you can keep going even after this time.
And
And
that's keeping us closer with our team. I mean, we're talking about it's not like you do this and I'm the boss and we are talking as a team, and we're coming up with solutions and ideas and things as a team, things for our clients, it's like this brain trust now, and it's made us a lot closer. So that is something, I think, to your point, Carlos, engage your team and really think about it for your clients, think about it for your customers, and like, what would they need sitting in their home alone? I have a guy that did a virtual game night, and 7 of us participated Saturday night. He hosted it. It was so much fun. It was a board game that he created and he hosted, and he created a web page and everything. It was so much fun. And I'll tell you, that who would have thought we could have played a board game online together with our friends? Who knew?
that's something that a business could do, right? They could come up with a board game that has something to do with their business. The important thing is to stay connected with people,
Right.
to stay connected with, because your customers want to stay connected with you. We talk to our customers all the time right now, especially because we are still in marketing and messaging, and we're still running a lot of the messaging and shifting some of the messaging to adapt, but we stay connected with them. Now, when you're a service business like we are, it's easier to stay connected with people.
Right.
When you are a brick and mortar business, or you are like the winery, right? Coming up with these ideas are really what's going to differentiate you, not only in the short term but in the long term, right? this
Right.
is this is how people will connect, because we will have a new normal after this.
It really is almost a spiritual thing of like, who is rising, right?
Yeah,
Who is rising and who's allowing themselves to get buried, you know?
exactly.
And I
And
think that
so
those are the people
and,
hanging
instead of spending this time hiding under the sheets,
and watching the
um,
news all day.
look and listening to the news. Oh God, I try to stay away from the news nowadays. Figure out ways that you can integrally connect at a very basic level with your customer base, because you think they don't want it, and they do.
That's right. And I'll tell you, my hairdresser, she's, I'm easy because I can just do one color and I'm all good. But, my partner has, different colors. And so what she's doing little Instagram stories about different ways to clip your bangs or to, do a touch up on your color until this is over. So things that you think that are services that there's no way, because that customer has to be in your chair or in your building, is just not true. There's ways just so that they see your face so they don't forget you and go look somewhere else when this is over, you know?
Yeah, and well,
Top of
and it's also a unique opportunity for you to develop new ways to keep your business going,
That's
right? So these videos can become tutorials later on. This business can, this time creating things like what your hairdresser is creating can then be content that lives on her site,
right.
that is discoverable, that is ways that show that she's a go-giver, not a go-getter, you
And
know? So
haven't we seen the most amazing things where people that were afraid to go in front of the camera and said, "Oh, no, no, no," my business groups, "Oh, no, no, no." I've been one of them. Now they're out in front of their business because by circumstance, and they're finding that they're okay, and they're developing this great relationship with their customers and their clients and getting new people. I'm like, this will really, like, from what you said from the very beginning, really revolutionize how people do business. I think everybody's kind of grasping that. If you're out and paying attention, I think people are grasping that. And I don't know what it's going to be like when it comes out, but there's going to be all new opportunities.
well, what I actually think you're making an amazing point in that one of the things that we touted the most, if you listen to past podcasts of ours, is that we were in a time of need of authenticity.
That's right.
And that successful brands were the ones that were being authentic, that were being engaged, that were participating at an integral level, at a human level. What's happening with this quarantine is that people are having to come forward and are having to risk sucking at doing it,
That's
and
right.
are realizing that it doesn't matter. You
Doesn't
don't
matter.
have to be perfect. You don't have to. The only my soul cycle instructor always says that you have to be aware that the person that you have the most conversations with in your life is yourself.
No kidding. I got a whole committee up there.
Exactly. And that if that is true for you, that is true for everybody else.
So
So
true.
they are not as worried about you as you think they are.
Nor
They
are they
are more
thinking
worried
about you
about
10 minutes
themselves.
later. They're not
No,
really thinking about what you just did because they're worried about themselves.
they're worried that people on Zoom are always worried about how do I look, not how do you look. It's how do I
What's
look.
my background? My background right now happens to be my car because I'm in the garage, but yes,
Yeah,
any
yeah.
background.
So
So
it's
there's
giving
so
us the
else
ability to
being
suck.
creative.
It's
Yeah,
giving us the ability to suck at it, which a lot of people are not, and they're realizing I'm actually coming up with great ideas and things that, I mean, if I were a winery, I would be doing those wine club.
I'd be
I
sending
would,
the wine and setting it up.
and
Yep.
I would be promoting the heck out of that as a community. Connect with your local, like organize within your buildings, like get people to sign up, and that way you stay connected. Like that's it is a huge opportunity for that. Even here where I live, our landlord reached out to my cousin because he knows that she loves exercise stuff, and asked her if she would record an exercise routine for people to
Oh,
do
that's
within the building,
awesome. Oh,
right?
super sweet.
So it's giving us that opportunity to get over our fears of connection, get
Right.
over our fears of turning our passion into a brand, and really bringing us back to that concept of there's a reason why we went into business. And it's because we have a passion for what we do. And your brand will not represent your passion if you're not in front of your brand, showing everyone your passion. That's
Especially
what
when
people.
especially when it's challenging and people can't connect. I gotta tell you, I haven't gotten to give Carlos a hug in 3 weeks, and I just want to give him a hug. So, it's like, that's it. So we get to do this stuff and connect with each other, and
Don't
I
touch
hope
me.
you what'd you say? Did
Don't
you
touch me.
I won't even show up at the office to pick up a paycheck if Carlos is anywhere near the office. So hey, everybody, listen, we wish you, safety and good health. And hopefully you're hearing this and this is all over, and stay strong.
Stay strong out there, guys.
Thank you for listening today. Don't forget to subscribe to and share Wicked Marketing on Apple Podcasts and write an awesome review for us. We are also on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Play. See you next time.